Striving to break a world record.
So many things can go wrong up here, so I have to be very, very focused and very, very sharp.
His 60,000 square foot tribute to Los Angeles with a powerful message. But first, the Nightline 5.
Okay. I never thought I'd say this, but I found bladder leak underwear that's actually pretty. Surprised? It's called Always Discreet Boutique. It looks and fits like my underwear. I know what you're thinking. How can something this pretty protect? Hidden inside is a super absorbent core that quickly turns liquid to gel for incredible protection. So I feel protected and pretty. New Always Discreet Boutique.
Number 1 in just 60 seconds.
Nothing is more important to me than keeping my children safe. That's why I can't vote for Ralph Northam. Northam supports the automatic restoration of rights for sex offenders, making it easier for these violent felons to get guns. Northam's policy led to a child sex offender having his rights restored, even after he had been arrested for child pornography. We can't risk Ralph Northam as governor.
I'm Ed Gillespie, candidate for governor, and I sponsored this ad.
The holidays are coming, and so is the family. Xfinity will have you ready. Xfinity is America's best internet provider according to speedtest.net. Plus, you can get Xfinity Mobile included with your internet, so all you pay for is data. Get ready for the holidays with this limited time offer on Xfinity TV and internet, just $79.99 a month for 2 years, and add X1 DVR service free for a year. Or ask how to get a $500 prepaid card when you add Xfinity Mobile. Click, call, or visit a store today.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. This week, New York was once again hit by terror, the most deadly attack here since 9/11. Tonight, we explore a terrifying reality that some of the most dangerous threats to our country could come from within. ABC's Diane Sawyer investigates ISIS recruiting tactics, revealing their shocking reach into American households, turning impressionable young people into deadly weapons.
This week in America,
there's been a violent incident.
29-year-old man who had immigrated to this country 7 years ago takes a truck and mows down more than 20 people on a bike lane. On his phone, 90 ISIS propaganda videos. And it seems for years now we have been talking about men like these, their terror, radical jihad. But tonight in this report, we are tracking something different, trying to learn how ISIS is now reaching into all kinds of American homes, Muslim, non-Muslim, urban, rural. There are 1,000 terror investigations underway, reaching across every single state of the Union. And 40% of those charged in supporting ISIS terrorism did not grow up Muslim. Which brings us to the young man who lived here in rural North Carolina.
Please, someone's not here. Your emergency.
A desperate father calls 911 about his son burning religious statues in their house.
I need somebody as quick as possible.
We have units en route to you. Stay on the line with me, okay?
I don't know if it's ISIS or what.
This is your son?
Yes.
You can hear that son in the background.
You're going to throw me in jail my whole life and kill me. Why are you trying to stand a terrorist?
A terrorist? Justin Sullivan grew up as a boy in a Catholic home with trophies, friends, a bedroom filled with childhood toys. His dad, a retired Marine captain, Rich Sullivan.
I imagined him joining the military. And following my footsteps.
But his high school reported to the parents that Justin had violent fantasies in his writing and suspended him. They said he needed serious help. The parents sent him to a psychologist, but admit they downplayed what they were hearing. As Justin continued to isolate himself on his computer, obsessed with violent video games and images of ISIS.
ISIS soldiers would wear their socks above their ankles. He started doing that himself.
The parents had no idea that their 18-year-old son, alone with his computer, had reached out to ISIS recruiters. He sent a message. In less than 24 hours, a top captain of ISIS responded. ISIS recruiters seemed to know exactly what to say to weaponize someone like Justin. There is even a captured terrorism recruiting manual. In phrases from other ISIS cases, we can see step one. If the target is alienated like Justin, start with encouragement and praise. Like, welcome, brother, blessings upon you. We know Justin loves the video game Call of Duty. ISIS has an idea, Call of Jihad. The recruiters tell Justin there is something he can do to be a real action hero, a celebrity. One night in December 2014, in what seems to be a practice run, Justin Sullivan puts on a ski mask and murders a neighbor with his father's rifle, which he hides. Police find the neighbor's body but have no suspect. And then in a few months, he tells his ISIS recruiter he's ready to go big. And ISIS says make a videotape so they can be sure he's famous. He's going to get an assault rifle and slaughter people at a concert in North Carolina or at a club. But as the clock is ticking down, his parents discover a package containing a gun silencer.
I called the police department. I said, I need to talk to somebody in Homeland Security.
Captain Sullivan discovers the FBI was already secretly tracking his son because of that first call to 911. Agents descend on the house, arresting Justin. He pleads guilty to terrorism and to the neighbor's murder. His defense attorney argues Justin is clearly mentally ill.
He could very well be on the brink of schizophrenia.
He has never talked about why he was trying to become a soldier of ISIS.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Justin Sullivan,
an inmate at the Buncombe County Detention Center.
He knows we've been asking the question. He says ISIS gave him a place to belong.
I saw it's like a brotherhood.
And his fantasies of heroism from the violent video games have become reality.
It was like revenge, and you want it to be like acknowledged by the Islamic State. You want it to be looked at as like a hero. I want to be remembered, you know.
At one point, he claims he wouldn't really have gone through with a mass attack, but we wondered, does that mean he's sorry for what he did?
Why should I apologize? I got 2 life sentences, you know, and who's saying sorry to me?
This is Mary McCord. She is the former head of the federal office that has prosecuted all 147 ISIS cases in the U.S. in the last 2.5 years, including the case of Justin Sullivan.
I don't think Justin Sullivan cared anything about the religion. He thought that this was essentially a death cult.
McCord says it might surprise you how many of the cases her office has prosecuted have little to do with twisted religious beliefs, more to do with young men, and 89% are male, just feeling powerless. For your teenagers, it's just a few clicks away, and most parents don't know.
They have an entire chat room to give you information on how to protect your computer from surveillance in the FBI.
Seamus Hughes of George Washington University leads a program and a group that tracks and analyzes extremists online.
They just posted this?
They just posted this about 5 minutes ago.
And if you think smart, successful kids are somehow immune to the trapdoors online, come with us to the Federal Transfer Center in Oklahoma City. There is someone who can answer questions about the story of 2 honors students from small Mississippi towns. One of them a cheerleader, the other a soccer player. Through the door, Muhammad Daklala, a young man who once had a bright future.
Had you ever been arrested before?
No, ma'am, not at all.
Nothing.
No, ma'am. I mean, unless you count, like, car tickets.
One of your friends was quoted saying, he's the guy who was never in a bad mood.
That is true, yeah.
He is the son of a Muslim father and a Catholic mother who converted. He was a straight-A student in graduate school studying psychology when he met his first real girlfriend. A superstar who grew up going to church on Sundays. Her dad a police officer, her mother a school principal.
Super smart, super intelligent, always very polite.
Jalen Delshawn Young.
She was so smart, top of her class, studying to be a doctor.
Muhammad shyly admits she was his first real relationship.
What was it about her?
Well, looks one thing, and the next thing I always look at is intelligence, really.
So what happened? Well, Wjla Young has admitted in court that she was the one who became so unmoored, so overwhelmed with her pre-med studies that anxiety and depression took hold. So she began to search for spiritual solace and looked at idealistic propaganda videos for ISIS.
These videos are dangerously inspirational. If you're in a state of anger or state of depression, they really want to try to hook you in.
But it was Wjla herself who says she was the first one drawn to fundamentalist Islam. She liked the strict rules of behavior. She says she became convinced by ISIS propaganda that ISIS was misrepresented in the media. In a surprise, the smiling former cheerleader began wearing a niqab. She tells her boyfriend she wants him to watch propaganda videos and come with her to live in Syria. He says, in truth, he just wanted to be with her.
Are you saying you did this for love?
Kind of like blind love.
But you knew they are a savage organization.
We took that to be like more of a biased view from the media.
Did you really believe that? Look at your 4.0 average.
I couldn't even think straight, to be honest with you.
You were willing to kill Americans?
No, it was more just like, you know, I want to help as much as I can.
He told me he hoped maybe he could work in the PR department. Then one day, 2 years ago, after months of planning, these two college students packed their bags and headed to the regional airport to travel to the Middle East. What do they bring with them? Craft supplies, a scrapbook, a bar of soap, a pack of Starburst minis, and his Nintendo. But it turns out their ISIS friends online were in fact undercover agents for the FBI who moved in and arrested them. At sentencing, defense attorneys argued these were just smart kids who had fallen into depression, confusion, gotten lost in the internet. But the prosecutors argued not so fast, that these were kids who knew what ISIS does and that they were prepared to join up. Both of them expressed deep remorse, but tonight Wjla Young is spending 12 years in prison after prosecutors argue she instigated the idea. We asked to talk to her, she declined. And Mohammed Dakhlala is now in for 8 years.
If you have a machine 24/7 whose whole purpose is to recruit, any child is vulnerable.
Any child, any religion.
Anyone is vulnerable.
The idea that you would go to join someone who engages in beheadings? That you would suspend critical thinking about that?
They can dismiss the vile and disgusting things that they see because somehow it all fits into the narrative.
Tonight, a father from North Carolina has a warning for parents. Remember, he is a Marine who fought the enemy abroad.
Here I am defending our country against domestic enemies, which so happened to be my son. I didn't think it'd be this close to home.
A father awash in regret.
I think we failed.
Our thanks to Diane Sawyer and her team for that compelling report. Up next, he's used to painting stars. Now he's painting a building. How this LA street artist is on his way to a Guinness World Record.
Depend real